Welcome to Charmed Life, a radio show discussing spirituality, magic, and the unconditional love of the universe. Thanks for tuning in. And I'm your host, Tricia Carr. Thank you so much for being here with me today. And if you are listening live, well, welcome. The phone lines are open today, 323-524-2599, to join the broadcast, ask for some advice or insight, or share one of your amazing stories of light. 323-524-2599 for those who are listening live. And if you're listening in the archives, thank you and welcome. Your timing is absolutely perfect too. So let me tell you, if you want to join live and perhaps call in sometime, if you're one who listens to the archive version on YouTube at youtube.com/Tricia Carr, or in a podcast outlet like iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, you can find that by searching Charmed Life with Tricia Carr. Please subscribe, like, share, review. Then you can also watch us live. We are live at 11 a.m. Pacific every single Sunday, and the phone lines are open every Sunday as well. So we would love to connect with you in real time. But time is a reality. It is not a reality. Time is an illusion. But so I could feel you however you are connecting, and I appreciate you so much. Before I bring on my amazing guest, I'm so excited. Seriously, I just got like this flutter in my heart. But I wanted to tell you that I am doing a special class series for my Patreon community. So Patreon is this platform that you can go and support an artist or a content creator, or like a podcast like this. And my profile you can find by searching Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Tricia Carr, Patreon is how you spell Patreon. And if you join in the month of October, so before November 1st, 2018, at a $22 patronage level, you will have access to, well, many different rewards, including like discounts on my services, my monthly meetings, and group meditations and activations. We actually meet on Zoom video call together. But also, you will be able to take part in this series, a series of 7 classes happening monthly, Archangels and Universal Laws, where we learn and activate our connection to a universal law and an archangel, and that particular archangel will be channeling guidance and understanding, deeper understanding about how to connect with the universal law. Universal laws are just perspectives of energy, of which we are composed. And it's going to be at least one archangel, I would say, and if you have a nudge that there might be an ascended master or a ray or something like that could be supporting it sometime too. So I would love for you to connect, but again, it's before November 1st to get to lock in the $22 rate for it. After that, the classes will be available a la carte, so you can go and look at the schedule and say, actually, I want to do January because it's this archangel and this particular law, and you can do it a la carte, but it would be $33 for that month. So go check it out, please, patreon.com/Tricia Carr. I'm so excited about this series. Like, really, it's going to be powerful, and it's because of you who are going to be connecting with it. All right, so now allow me to introduce my very special guest. She is a speaker, an online entrepreneur, and a singer, and she has an amazing channel and online business called Wisdom from North, and she is Jannecke Øinæs. Welcome, Jannecke.
Hi, Tricia. I'm really grateful to be here.
Oh,
How are you?
You are so generous. Thank you. You have an amazing, seriously, the folks that you have on, Jannecke is interviewing just all of the most amazing thought leaders in metaphysics and spirituality as far as I'm concerned. So I'm just so excited to connect with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, for those who would love to know more about what you do in your journey, I would love to just turn the floor over to you. Can you please tell the Charmed Life audience all about how you got to where you are and what kind of work you're doing right now?
Yeah, it's kind of a long story, so I'll try to make it a bit short. But you said that I was a singer, and I started out my journey as a musical theater artist, as a child star in Norway, because I'm a Norwegian. So I got my first part as a 7-year-old girl that I played Little Cosette in Les Miserables.
I love
And
it.
yeah, that's my favorite musical all times.
I have been seeing, actually, I loved Les Miserables too. I I studied it and I loved it, and I saw it when I was like 15, and I still love to sing Cosette's song just like a little girl, because my voice actually can sound like a little girl. So just about a year ago, I did an online karaoke and I sang the Cosette Castle on a Cloud, and I swear I sound like a 6-year-old. It's weird. I channel a 6-year-old. But I'm sure nothing like you. But please go ahead.
I think it's something magical with that musical, because I think very many resonate with it. And for me, I can't listen to it without things happening in my body, like goosebumps all over. Goosebumps so powerful that I feel like goosebump is something really spiritual, actually.
Absolutely.
I have these amazing experiences, spiritual experiences with Les Miserables and Phantom of the Opera.
Me too. Phantom was the other one. Yes. I discovered my vibrato, that I had a vibrato, by trying to sing Christine from Phantom. Sorry, geeking out on musical. But I love that you're opening up with this part of your journey, because I understand that spirituality, the intuitive experience, the spiritual experience, channeling, and art and the artistic experience are one and the same. So it makes perfect sense to me.
Yes, I used to separate those two, but when I learned much,
Yes.
I realized that, wow, it's all connected. And for me, I was very magical, or I had the way I looked at reality was very magical. But then I shut that down when I was like 12, 13, and many, I think, did.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened at the same time was that I received so many roles. I was Annie in Annie, I was Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, and I got so much attention for my voice and for my talent that I think it was too much. And when I became 20, I did Rizzo in Greece.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, I got offered Audrey in Little Shop of Horrors. And then like my career was just like going up like this as a 21-year-old girl. And then all of a sudden I got nodules on my voice. And then it was just, everything stopped. And I fell down in this big hole, this dark, dark hole, and in a deep, deep depression that I almost didn't come out of. And then the long journey for me started, where I had to look at myself, look into myself to see what is there. Without this voice, who am I? Without the applause, without the attention. And for me, it was a really long path, a really long journey. But slowly and surely, I understood that I had to love myself. I had to give respect to my emotions. I had to give value to myself. And I started going long walks in nature. And it took me some years, but slowly but surely, I became in love with myself more and more. And then this huge amount of energy just came to me. And I had some spiritual experiences that verified for me that what I had believed as a child, but I had put, under the carpet because people didn't want to speak to me about it. They were like, yeah, Jannecke is weird. And I didn't want to hear that. I wanted to fit in. Like, this is the classic story right there, that we want to fit in, right? So you realized that what I had believed in my childhood was actually true. There is something more. I had this huge opening in my heart. And there was one particular meditation that I did. It was so beautiful. I meditated on my heart, and I can really recommend this exercise because the heart has intelligence. Heart math is showing us now that the heart has an intelligence, that we can actually think with our hearts. And what I did, I lay down and I meditated on my heart, like just listening to it beating. And I laid there for an hour, and all of a sudden it was like I don't know how to say it. I shut out from my heart, like into the universe. And I was huge, like I was so huge. And all I could feel was enormous love towards myself. Like I had no idea that I could love myself that much and that I was loved. So it was like I loved myself and I was loved. So it was just love, 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 love all around. And I never realized that this was me, that I was this huge. And in that moment, I realized, but this is for everyone too. It means that we are love. Like, I'm not the only one being this huge love. Everybody is this love. And that was an amazing, amazing experience. And then I realized that I just had to follow that in myself. I had to live authentically. I couldn't put that away because that was real for me. And then I started with Wisdom from North, interviewing people. I started doing more theater again. I became a primary teacher. I took an education. I did a lot of things at the same time because I had so much energy. And then I just been continued doing Wisdom from North, and I'm expanding more and more. And now I'm starting a membership platform because I feel like it is important to practice, not just to do a workshop here and a workshop there, but to really stay on the journey to continuously open up more and more and more.
Oh, that is so beautiful, because there is no limit. We are unlimited. I feel that so much. What is that membership platform like? What is it going to, what kind of world are you creating there? I can feel that it's this whole world. Tell us what it's about.
Right. It will be this universe, Wisdom from North universe. Well, I've interviewed over 400 people now, right? So many amazing teachers. So I know so many amazing teachers. So what I wanted to create was a membership platform with different masterclasses with different teachers that I've come across, because I still love to provide an array of different perspectives, not just my perspective, but different teachers' perspectives, to really go deeper into one path, or one perspective. So at the same time, I will also have webinars where I will be speaking about one topic that we will focus on each month. And then we will have different challenges. For instance, a minimalistic challenge where we let go of one more thing every day for a month, or gratefulness challenge, or meditation challenge, or language challenge, being aware of the words we're using, because that is magic that will also create manifest itself when we the words we're using has a real power.
Yes.
So every month we will have different challenges, and you can choose the level of dedication you want to move into. And at the same time, I have a lot of bonus material, like interviews, exclusive interviews with people, with teachers, and access to my live evenings in Oslo, videos from them, and so on.
Wow.
And the master classes is like, I don't think that many people in Scandinavia have done it before. I know it's very common in the US, but here in Scandinavia it's very new. But this is what I want to provide. So you can have a lot of perspectives from teachers, but at the same time, have someone who's holding you in your ears. Like, this is the challenge, you can go into it or not, or you can just watch as an entertainment. But I really want people to go into the journey, because that's where we have change when we are practicing. That's my belief.
I love that. Well, I have to say, so many blessings to you in this beautiful work that you are creating, that you have been creating, and now you are taking it up to a new level. And this offering, I can just feel the energy of it is very profound. It is like it is becoming its own heart, its own vortex that you experienced as you expanded from that heart vortex and recognized how huge you are, the expansion. And it feels like you're creating that again, and many are contributing to it with this membership platform. And wow. And you recently, your website, your brand, as I said, became an online magazine, right? And how is that functioning?
It's kind of funny, because I'm like, I want to create a magazine. Yes, let's do that. I've become like that. So I follow my hunches, but I think it has to do with that. Back in 2012, I was I studied to be a primary teacher, and I wasn't inspired. And all of a sudden it became so clear to me what I wanted to do. It was a really clear moment. It wasn't a voice or anything. It was, I think I have just like a clear, what is it called? Clear
sentience?
Cognizance.
Cognizance. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So I just know all of a sudden that what I want to do is travel around interviewing people about the big questions of life. And then there's no, I'm not in doubt of it. I just know when I get that knowing. And it was the same knowing I got here. Like, I'm going to start a membership. I'm going to start a magazine. I just knew. But it took me like 5 or 6 years before I actually started doing this. I've been doing interviews for 6 years before I started this membership. And before that, 3 years before, I started live evenings in Oslo. So for me, it has been a slower journey than for others. And I think it has to do with that I am a soul that is quite vulnerable and very sensitive. If things open up too rapidly, I think that's too scary for my system. So for me, it has to be slowly but surely, like step by step, step by step, step by step, for me to really dare to take this much space and room.
Well, I mean, sure. I'm sure from your perspective, and I experience that too. It feels slow, but come on, 6 years is having a brand new offering where, community, and it's not, you know what I mean? Like from another perspective, that's actually quite rapid. I have to just say.
Oh, okay.
There are plenty of people out there. We just think about, if we look at it just from the business perspective, 6 years to a business that is actually flowing really beautifully. That's not too long. A lot of people, it takes longer. But I think, but I also understand what you mean, that because you bring it in claircognizantly, you align with it, you have a knowing of it, you become it. But then the unfolding of it, then from that step one feels like, oh gosh, the manifestation process is long because you identify with it on the non-physical. The physical seems like it takes a long time to actually develop, right?
Yes, and I want to say that because I think there are a lot of people out there who are feeling, what's my purpose? I don't have clarity. I don't see what I'm going to do. I want to find my purpose. And I've been there too. Like, I did the interviews and I loved it, but I felt I'm not expanding as much as I want. I'm not growing as much. I'm getting all these perspectives, but there's still more. I want to stretch myself more, but I don't know what it is. And I don't want to just start with anything just to do something. So I was like waiting for the right idea to come, and it took time. But all of a sudden it was there. And I have so trust now in divine timing.
Yes.
You need to also to be mature. And I didn't know what I needed to mature, but the universe does.
Yes.
So it came in the right time.
That formula is, this is the reason that we've entitled this episode The Inner Calling. So the formula starts with that inner calling, that knowing, that feeling. Even sometimes you don't even have the knowing yet, you just have the feeling. And then the perfect synchronism of the universe and the field aligning with you. And then that's when there is action to take. But the space between there is your higher self creating the experience of time so that it can unfold according to your higher purpose. That's the way I see it. Do you agree?
Yes, it's really magical. At the same time, it can be excruciatingly painful to be in that void where you're like, I want to find what it is. I know it's something, but what is it? And it's hard to start creating when you don't know what to create. And I've been using visualization for that because I had such a wonderful interview with Serena Dyer, who is the daughter of Wayne Dyer that recently passed away.
Yes.
Huge spiritual teacher. And she told me that, even as a daughter of this great spiritual teacher, she felt lost in life. She didn't know what to do. She had this degree and all, but she didn't know what to do. So she started visualizing that she was happy, that she was walking down the street really happy because she was fulfilled with her purpose in life. So she didn't know the what, but she used visualization for that. And I think that's a great tool. And after 3 months, things started to become clear for her.
Yes.
Like, she understood that she wanted to be a storyteller. She wrote a book. She understood that she wanted to be a mother. That was like, she had suppressed that need or wish to be a mother. And now she's like, I just talked to her again, and she's pregnant now again. So it was unfolding for her what she really wanted to do in life through that visualization that she did every day for 3 months.
That seems like such a short amount of time to be able to activate such purposes,
I think when we say to the universe that, or like back to the practice, when we really give a signal, it can be whatever it is, just doing something every day. You're really saying to the universe, I want to find out what my purpose is. I'm really serious about this. And for me, I started going to a school here in Norway every week. So it's like, I'm going to really go into practice now. I'm not just going to a workshop here and there. I'm going to do this every week. So I showed the universe that I'm serious about that. I really want to find my deep purpose. And in a way, I know what my purpose is, but it was more of a level that I wanted to know more practically what I was going to create. And I think it's ever unfolding. So maybe in 5 years, I would be in the same place. Like, now what? Now I'm at this level. Now I want to create something different. And I think I just made a video blog on YouTube about the comfort zone. I think the more we expand our comfort zone, we're like, oh, now I want to create something different. And what is that? And we're continuously expanding like that. And I can never do the same again and again because I'll get bored. I'm a soul like that. I'll get bored. So I need to push the limits all the time.
I understand that. I know. So I've gotten frustrated with myself before where it's like, why the moment that I've created something, am I ready to like move on from it? Can't I ever chill for a little while?
I know.
Well, we actually do have a call. Let's go ahead and bring on the caller and see what they have to contribute. Hello, you're on the air. Who's this?
This is Darius. How are you, Tricia?
Darius, I can't believe that you called because I swear a moment ago when Jannecke was speaking, I thought of you. Well, I guess that I'm psychic or whatever, because it's not that surprising. But
Exactly.
Well, we have Jannecke on with us as well. What's on your mind today, Darius? Go ahead.
Well, I just want to first say that Jannecke was like preaching, honestly. Like she
Amen.
was preaching. What she was saying about having to like dive into it and realize that the more you practice what you want to do, you're eventually find exactly what you want to do. I can so relate to that. I recently just dove into psychic development coaching, and I've been getting crazy people saying, hey, I'm interested. I want to meet up. I want to do something, and it's awesome. So I just want to start off by saying that. I guess my actual question would be, now that I'm doing this psychic development coaching, I want to see the biggest transformation possible in 30 days. What could I be? What am I missing? But what can I fine tune?
Okay, great. Jannecke, do you have any advice for Darius?
Well, I just didn't quite understand the question. What's the biggest transformation, or how you can create the biggest transformation in 30 days?
Well, that's the length of my group coaching program, 30 days. So I'm wanting to entice the biggest transformation from point A to point B going. It's a psychic development kind of coaching. So I'm wanting people to be able to tap into their gifts and have the biggest control over their gifts in 30 days, which is the length of my program.
Tricia, can you just repeat the question?
Sure.
Because I'm not hearing it. The sound is a bit blurry.
Sure. Darius's program is how to have a major transformation in having mastery of your psychic and intuitive abilities and gifts in 30 days. And so he's just asking generally, do we have any wisdom from the North advice that might help him to, I think, charge up that intention, to align with that intention of a 30-day challenge to master your intuitive and psychic abilities? Any general advice?
Well, I always go to nature.
Amen.
I think it's really important not to just sit at home, but be in nature and listen. I think that's the best advice I can give, to listen and not expect what to come, not try to make anything come, just listen. And that has to do with still your mind, but I think that's easier to do in nature. So I would start the day with actually going out in nature and just sit there and listen. And also don't try to still your mind, because I think what we have resistance towards will get bigger. So more about letting everything come and just sit with it, and listen to what comes. That's my advice.
Oh, that's wonderful. Actually,
awesome. Jannecke,
I have to tell you, Darius and Jannecke, so what comes to me, I completely agree. I completely align. Well, I'm a big old, Gaia gal myself. And I actually had one of my nature elemental guides, my earth elemental guide, tell me, Darius, this is what I think this adjustment will help you very much. I think this is what you feel. And it's when you're using this 30 days to basically create mastery of your psychic abilities. And that's how your people are enticed and they're pulled into that. So an elemental guide, actually his name is Franklin, told me once that in teaching, in leadership, and, doing it online as we do, that we want to sell people what they want, but give them what they need. You see, because you're being a leader, so you're selling them 30 days of activation, which actually feels very hurried and non-present, but that's what's calling them, because that's what the contrast is driving them to you for. But actually, when you get into the program, teach them presence. And a fantastic way, a very, I think, important way to do that is to be in nature and to, as Jannecke is saying, to still your mind. So I think that's really brilliant advice, Jannecke. Thank you so much for that. What do you think, Darius? Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. I love nature. I agree. I'm at my best just lying in the grass, bare feet. I love it. I'm so down for that.
I think it's really pretty cool because you're drawing them in with what they want by, I want to hurry up and do this, but then you're going to, when they get into your tutelage, you're going to teach them to be present and to take every single moment to be the creator. So I think it's pretty cool. It's that dual experience. Thank you so much for calling, Darius.
Fun.
Thank you.
I'll probably see you next Sunday. Who knows?
All right. Awesome. I hope so. Thank you, Jannecke, for the advice to Darius. I think that was great. That's for all of us, actually. Wonderful.
And I would like to add that for me, paying attention to my heart, just like putting my focus in my heart, for instance, or in my third eye, actually, which has, in a way, another energy, I would feel, but still just putting the attention there, I think is a good place to start. So going out in nature and just, you can take your hand on your heart just to say to your body and your whole system, this is the awareness I want to bring forward. I want this to, whatever is coming here, being influenced by the heart energy.
Yes.
Because you kind of set the standard then in a way that that's the intelligence you want to open up for as well, your own heart intelligence. So I think that's really beautiful too. And the third eye is truly powerful as well. And it's a technique we can all learn. But you've probably heard of that before.
Well, I have to tell you that synchronism is always working with us because the heart energy has come up, I don't know, probably every single episode in the last 3 months, right, Kurt? Kurt, my producer's like, yeah, I remember that actually. The heart energy and connecting with the heart as the oracle. And for me personally, Jannecke, I actually just did a training at a retreat. Oh, by the way, I should say hello to the Lightworkers Lab. Hello, Lightworkers Lab. This is an online spiritual community that our show is actually broadcast into on Facebook. So do find the Lightworkers Lab by going into Facebook and search for the Lightworkers Lab. I'm a teacher and a mentor there. And so the Lightworkers Lab, we had a retreat, Jannecke, and the workshop that I taught was about, it came to me in a couple of sessions. One was a QHHT session, quantum healing hypnosis technique, and another one just in channeling in my own, my own room. And I was shown that before we actually create this body and this incarnation, we actually create our soul or a multidimensional consciousness. And it's like this vortex of energy. And it's all of the intentions, and it's contributed to by many different masters, many guides, angels, and, family, and all of the different kind of guides that we experience. And we create it, we co-create it, and then that expresses the physical life. And we experience it. We can experience it from any part of our being, but we most closely experience it through the connection to the heart. And so I think that, again, that was just last month. So the synchronicity is just undeniable that this is your experience as well.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds so simple in a way and so obvious, like moving to your heart. But back to the meditation I had, I mean, after laying there for an hour, and all of a sudden, boom, it was like I've never felt that love before. And that was through meditating on the heart. So I just got the verification there and then that the heart is so much more powerful than I ever thought. It's really powerful.
And the Heart Math Institute keeps coming up too in my interactions, whether on this show or in other ways too. So did you do a specific meditation that was, for example, the one that the Heart Math Institute talks about, the heart-brain coherence, or was it just you very freeform lying with your heart? Can you describe how you got into it? I'm sure a lot of folks would be like, I want to spend an hour and then explode into the cosmos.
Yeah, the funny thing is, or frustrating thing is that we can't make it happen, right? So after I experienced it, I was like, I want this again and again and again. But it can happen again. So sometimes I think it happens by grace, and I've been practicing it ever since, but not with that dedication, I must say. But I haven't had that experience again. So it was like a one-time thing, but I've had other experiences. And this happened when I was like 26, 27 years old. And before I started interviewing, and before I went to HeartMath and Institute and interviewed Howard Martin that works there. So I didn't know that the heart had intelligence at that time. But I went to this course online, which was about lucid dreaming and astral projecting.
Yes.
And that opened up a lot for me. So I learned how to lucid dream. I learned to wake up in a dream, and I learned to get out of my body. And I don't necessarily recommend this for everyone, so I don't speak too much about it anymore. But for me, it was really important to experience, because I was desperate after knowing or getting proof that there was life after death. Like, I needed to know. And this was like right after my depression. And because my depression was also about that, I had felt I had lost the connection.
Yes.
And I felt if I didn't get the proof, why would I be continuing living? Like, I didn't find the purpose if there was nothing after. So it was a real desperate need for me to know. So I started this course, and then they taught us different techniques, like doing mantras, for instance. That really helped me. That worked for me, like mantras. And that one exercise was meditating on the heart to actually be able to wake up in a dream, for instance. So I did that for another purpose, but I had, a very spiritual experience. So yeah, I recommend it. I mean, I would say it's really safe, because the heart is like the purest energy. And just try, if your mind wanders off, just to get back to the beats, get back to it again and again and again. And if you don't hear the beats, just pretend that you hear them, because you will start to hear them eventually. And then you can find yourself going into this mystical place. It might happen, and just follow through with it. And I also recommend just to say a prayer before you do it, so you protect yourself. I think that's also always good to do, just to visualize a white light around you before you go into the meditation, so you feel safe.
Yes, I completely agree. The energy of pursuing or chasing or efforting or trying to attain a specific outcome, that actually connects us, or it helps us to identify with sort of a lack experience or a not having experience, rather than the abundant experience or an unconditional experience. And so I always recommend that whatever you're doing, going into, actually in the physical life, if you're going to an event or something, a party or a job or whatever it is, or if it is going into a meditation, or if it is doing some work with someone else where you might be doing mediumship or, that kind of, any of that kind of work, anything that you do, that we actually go in with only the expectation of connecting with pure unconditional love. And so then if there's no conditions, then we're not demanding a specific experience. And that's when that full connection, that alignment really can create experiences that will blow your mind, honestly, when we aren't insisting, because the insistence is limiting. It is us limiting it. And again, like I say, recognizing the lack of an experience. So that is really, I love all that you shared there. That's really beautiful.
And I think that the universe gives you what you need.
Yes.
So when I try to get out of my body and all that, and travel to these astral places, because I came to this astral realm. I don't know if your audience is into this, but
they're into a lot of weird stuff. So
yeah.
Yes, we talk about all kinds of things. We talk about, benevolent star beings and channeling and light language, and yes, astral projection, and yes, absolutely. Okay. You can't weird us out.
Yeah. So when I was waking up in a dream, I really wanted to go to these amazing places in the astral realm, and I didn't quite manage that, to go where I wanted to go. But what happened was that I had this amazing experience with love. And I think I needed to hear that, because my issue in life has been lack of self-love. That's been such a big issue for me. Like self-worth has always been an issue until, I started loving myself. So I got what I needed.
Yes.
And after that, I felt like, I don't need to travel all these mystical places anymore, because I actually have what I need now. Now I actually want to use what I have learned on Earth. Like I didn't feel the urge to travel out of my body anymore. I wanted to be here.
Yes.
And that's so beautiful, because it's kind of I think that's the whole purpose, like to be here, because we are born as human beings, like in a physical form. So we shouldn't like go away somewhere to try to be somewhere else. I wouldn't say should or shouldn't, but for me, it has become like the intention is much more on using spiritual tools here in the everyday life, instead of running away in my mind to somewhere else
I totally understand. To me, the model of this, you're basically talking about the expanded experience or the contracted experience, or the spiritual and the physical. And I think that the breath is a perfect model of that. We expand in order to nourish ourselves, but we must contract again. And the expansion is serving the contraction. And, that, like you say, the physical experience, the life, is a spiritual intention. So that is, we're always having this beautiful story that we're telling of the expansion and the contraction. But I totally understand why you needed to get into that astral, because the way your story unfolds, you had the identity with a physical instrument, or the activity with your art, and it had become very physical, and then it was a physical ailment, the nodules, that actually stopped your connection to spirits, is the way that you needed to find out a way to be able to connect it despite the condition of the physical experience. Does that make sense to you? That's what I see in your story, and I think it's awesome.
Yes, I mean, I think it's definitely a red thread there. And I mean, the voice is so symbolic, because I felt like I didn't dare to speak my truth, right? So I lost my voice.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much symbolism there. And I saw that like way later. I always said to people that I had the perfect childhood. There's nothing there. The problem isn't there. There's nothing there to look into.
That's the problem, probably. I guess that's the problem.
There was so much to look into, and we all have our traumas, right?
Of course.
So I think that the secret is in our childhood, and also to look into what did I pay attention to? What kind of child was I? How did I see the world? What did I love doing? When we connect back to that, I think that's where like our natural organic purpose just comes up, because I think we lose so much on the way, like I look at ourselves as these stars, but we're like smothered with dirt, and we have to take away the dirt to really shine again.
Yes.
And that's the process, basically.
That is the process. Exactly. When we are children, we are less tainted by conditioning, but then we need to figure out how to survive in this world, which a lot of it is not natural, the way that our society functions and everything. So then we get lost in that. Again, we're going to do the same theme of the perfect expansion back into the contraction, and then coming out of that again. But we can look to that, to the childhood for either, like you say, the questions that are being asked by what is the trauma that created us cutting off parts of ourselves or putting it away in a shadow. And then we can also look to what we were doing and say, oh, there's that purpose all along. I knew, you can see the demonstration of it when you were a child. I was wallowing around with animals and talking to them and experiencing nature spirits and everything. And I was also then eventually I was dragging around a tape recorder and interviewing my family. So it's no coincidence. I was actually performing and singing and dancing for my family too. So to be an inspirer, I think that is sort of a base of the experience of being an artist, and then eventually being one who facilitates the connection and the teaching and the spiritual experience in the way that you are. How do you align with that? Would you say that to be an inspirer, to be in the space of inspiration, it feels like to me that's a big charm about you.
How I align with that?
Yes, like does that resonate with you when I say, to me it feels like a way to actually speak what you are, or how I experience you, Jannecke, is that you are an inspirer. Inspiration is sort of a big purpose or expression that I get from you.
Well, that's very nice to hear, because that's what I love to do, inspire people.
Mm-hmm.
Because inspiration is actually my favorite word.
Oh, good. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's so magical. When I'm inspired, I can do anything. It's like, that's, to me, it's the most spiritual it gets. Then I'm in spirit. I feel like everything is opening up, and everything just feels right in a sense. And I remember I had that when I was a child, when I got inspired from musicals. I just danced around. I was in my own world. And I think what I want people to feel is that magical feeling inside that is possible. And I think I want that because I've experienced the opposite, like in the depression, where it was just gray, like dark. And then I know how it can also feel, but it has to do with tapping into that magic. I'm talking a lot about magic today. I don't know why, but it's just coming up.
Well, I don't know if you heard the introduction of my show. I say that this show is about magic and the unconditional love of the universe. So it's a big part of my intention.
Yeah, because it's all inside of us. And I was thinking about when, the name of the show was Inner Calling.
Yes.
So how do you know your inner calling? How do you feel the inner calling? And I have no idea. It's just when I start speaking about these topics, when I sit down, listen to a video of you or other transformational teachers, something happens within me, a feeling that is so strong, so powerful that I can't explain it. It's just my nature in a way. It's so far away from the mundane life. It's just something greater than life feeling.
Yes.
And if I shouldn't listen to that, what should I listen to?
Exactly.
If that's not right, what is? So I have never had a voice or anything like that telling me anything. It's just been this knowing. And inspiration is such a beautiful feeling. And I think we need to inspire ourselves every day to get into that feeling.
Yes.
Because that's our nature.
I was just hearing from Spirit when we're talking about inspiration, in the word inspire, this SPIR is the same word as, respiratory, the breath of life, and also spirit, the non-physical and the unconditional. And so, I was talking about the breath and that dual experience of expansion and contraction, but we actually are more than just duality. We are actually a trinity. We have a triune experience, because even in the model of the breath, we have the inhale and we have the exhale. But before we move to either one of those, when we inhale, we have this apex of the breath, and that is being inspired. We have received spirit, and that is this. Oh gosh, it's just kind of crazy. That's the triune experience of being inspired, because you're inspired. You've taken in spirit, and you're ready to express it. But you're in this perfect space of needing neither, needing more spirit nor needing to release it, because you're in this full, wholesome, universal experience. Does that make sense to you? That just came to me.
Yes, I love how you explain things like that. You have such a beautiful way of expressing. And,
Thank you. That's
I'm like stumbling along here with the English, but no, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, and the number three is such a spiritual number.
Yes.
So that makes it a trinity. That makes such sense.
Oh gosh, I just got the chills. I got those spirit chills you talked about. Wow. Well, I think we're just about out of time. Wow, how did that time fly so fast? Oh, we have calls, actually. Kurt says we have 6 minutes. Oh, I thought you said we had 6 calls. Okay. Phew. I was like, oh no, 6 people we're going to miss out on. Well, we're close to out of time, but I want to hear a little bit more about some of, I guess, I don't know, are you continuing on with Wisdom from North, the interviews, and is there anyone that you would like to, you talked about Sabrina, Dyer. And are there other people that you either are hoping to connect with or some other favorites that you've connected with in Wisdom from North?
Well, I mean, I've interviewed over 400, so it's difficult to say. Like, I have a few favorites because there have been so many amazing people, but I usually remember best those I just interviewed.
Of course.
And yes, I will continue with interviews, and then I'll do, an exclusive interview with them for my membership and stuff like that. But I just interviewed Aaron Doughty. And I discovered him online, and I just fell in love with his videos because the energy he brings forward is so high vibrating. I get such in a good mood afterwards, and I love the feeling he gives me. And I thought it was interesting because we discussed that in the interview, because he sat down like the third day he started meditating. The third day he had quite a spiritual experience, and I was like, after the third day, like I have been practicing, and it took me such a long time before I had some spiritual experiences. But I think it's important just to say that our journeys are very different, and important to mention this because it's so easy to feel like, oh, something wrong with me. Like, he meditated for 3 days and had a spiritual experiences, and he got this feeling of peace and just felt amazing. And I don't. Like, I meditate every day and I don't feel like that. So I think all our journeys are different, and trust in the divine timing and trust in the practices. Just keep on staying on the journey. Don't lose hope. Have faith that your time will, like how it unfolds for you is perfect for you. Like, for me, I think I couldn't have this rapid awakening, like this sudden awakening. I don't consider myself as an awakened person, but I definitely have a wider awareness than I had in my depression. Like, something has happened. But the journey is very different for everyone, and trust how it unfolds for you. Don't give up. Just still practice. Keep on practicing.
Yes.
And another interview I want to mention is what is this called? Emmanuel Jal. He had been a war child. It's quite, he had been a war child. He had been a soldier. He had killed many people. He had seen terrible, terrible things. But he met all his demons, he said, one after the other. And that was the way he expressed it, like his demons. And he completely shifted his life from such a dark life to becoming a transformational teacher, moving into joy, helping other people find their joy, and just transforming lives and forgiving himself, forgiving everyone else. And that transformation, that change is so profound. So, because I've had some troubles accepting darkness and all the suffering in the world.
Yes.
And with his story, I saw that everything can be transformed. Everything can be forgiven. Everything is possible. So that made an impression. I cried in the interview. It just, that was really powerful.
Wow, beautiful. I can't wait to go and catch those. Yeah, I reached out to Aaron a while ago too. I think I was going to invite him on this show, and I must have lost track of that. So thank you for reminding me of his beautiful work. I would love to have him on Charmed Life.
Great. Yeah, he's so busy. Oh my goodness. He does so many things. He has so much energy, but wow, he's amazing, and quite young too. And I love that younger and younger spiritual teachers are coming forward. I love that also, to reach a younger audience as well.
Yes, I think that is notable because of the actual ascension of the planet, the vibration of the planet and the entire, the children that have been coming in. Aaron would be a generation that is in that crystal rainbow and indigo child time, and they're coming in with a more of a remembrance. And so of maybe not having quite as much of an amnesia veil through which they have to cross. I mean, we all do, but so the awakening, they have, maybe one way you could look at it, is less from which to awaken, but I know. I mean,
I just thought about it. I think that is some part of it too.
Yeah.
it happens, more rapidly for younger people.
It does, but on the other hand, for people who would be in the generation that we're calling millennials, that they are then they're having a hard time understanding how to work with the old system to be able to survive and in the 3D construct. But the cool part about that is they're building a new one. They're building something that is more aligning with the shift to 4D. So that's pretty cool. But because they came into the information age where we can actually just connect with everyone instantaneously, which is a reminder of our spiritual ability to connect telepathically and spiritually right here and now, And so they just came into that, whereas, say, our grandparents were completely separated from one another unless they walked. They had to do a lot more work to be able to connect in a way that they were conscious of in the 3D, So they have they have that on their side, but there's always challenges to it because, again, of course, we're all shifting all the time, and shifting, changing, growing is having to release some things that are that experience is, well, like you said, it can be painful. It's an experience of
growth symptoms can be really difficult.
Yes.
They can be really painful.
Yes.
Like whenever I expand my comfort zone, the day after I feel horrible. I can feel confused. I can get the flu. And I think that's very normal because your system has a reaction because you all of a sudden you push through something, a limitation that has been there, like a limited belief, maybe saying, I can't do that. And then I do that. And the system just needs to adjust. So all of a sudden the day after, I just feel horrible. But then that becomes my new standard and then it stabilizes. So growth can be painful.
Yes.
And just growing as a young child, you get physical pains also in your legs and stuff like that. But when we know that, when we're aware that, this can be a bit painful, then we understand.
Yes.
And we don't give up. So it's all about awareness about that too, I think.
Right. And then you can relax and not have resistance or fear about the fact that you may be having some growing pains. And yes. Experience is quite beautiful. I do not envy the young. I do not envy my younger self even. That was so hard for her. I'll take wrinkles to have experience behind me that proves to my physically oriented conscious mind that I'm going to be okay. Not only okay, but get back to that place of inspiration.
Yeah.
Well, okay, now we really are just about out of time. So, Jannecke Øinæs, thank you so much for being here, but could you tell everyone how they can connect with you, how they can follow you and get involved in your membership and, just all the ways that the audience would be able to continue to enjoy your light?
Yeah, you can check out my YouTube channel, Wisdom from North. There are 400 videos there, and I give out videos every week. And you can also check out my website and my magazine. So my website is wisdomfromnorth.com. And when you find About Me, you can find my newsletter. And there you can sign up, register. And there you will get all the information about the membership. And that's the best way. And we will open pretty soon. We have set the date, but we haven't announced it yet. But we're still working behind the scenes. And you can also check out my magazine. We are giving out one new article every week. And transformational teachers from the Nordic countries and from all around the world are writing for us. So that's exciting too. And if you're on my newsletter, you will also get all the articles. So I'd really advise to register on my newsletter, and then you will get all the information. And then in the meantime, you can check out my YouTube channel.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for all the work that you do. And I'm really excited to connect with your membership myself. So I can't wait to see all that you continue to create. And thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart, from my heart to your heart. Thank you for coming and sharing on Charmed Life. You have been just such an inspiration. If I can end it with that, you are an inspiration, Jannecke.
Thank you so much, Tricia. And it was an honor being on your show. You have such a beautiful way of giving wisdom and sharing, your own wisdom as well. So I think people are really appreciative of that. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, that will just about do it. Again, thank you so much to our guest, Wisdom from North creator, Jannecke Øinæs. And we will be back again live next week, Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific. You can find it on YouTube, youtube.com/Tricia Carr, or search in any podcast outlet, Charmed Life with Tricia Carr. Thanks for tuning in. I love you, whoever you are.